So the idea for this exhibition was to lay the pictures and the images on the floor and not to build up walls to hang them, to have this beautiful light come in and to have like islands on the floor where the public can walk in, turn around the images and then have a closer look to it. It's a project coming from Europe, coming first from Hamburg, from Germany, where George Didi Huberman did an exhibition about the principle of Atlas, the Abi Warburg principle with contemporary art. And I photographed this exhibition during the exhibition, and these pictures are the result of that exportation of this other exhibition. So it's a photographic interpretation of another exhibition which has gone, and this is some kind of the phantoms, let's say, of the older exhibition. And it's a photographic interpretation with fragments, with close-ups, with looks on documents, but also on works of art. So the idea was a photographic transformation of this whole project, and it was a beautiful idea to invite it here to Rio de Janeiro and to make it travel. So this is the first image of the exhibition, representing reprints of the Warburg Atlas, some examples of that atlas. The interesting thing of the Warburg Atlas project was that he arranged all those pictures he had collected and in a box, about 1,000 pictures he had, and then he asked a photographer to document the constellation of these images. So the principle is to explain via this constellation different kinds of survival of images, as Warburg said. So the interesting for me as a photographer was to react to that principle that the original images of Warburg do no longer exist, and the only way we have the documentation of the constellations of Warburg is a photographic image. So there are glass plates of those photographs representing the different Warburg constellations. And for the original exhibition Atlas in Hamburg, there were these reprints on aluminium, and I photographed those plates leaning on the wall like a montage of the exhibition. And as you see, there is some kind of trompe-l'oeil with different elements like this little post-it in it. And I'm taking this principle here of the montage of the exhibition to go on the other side and to go on the glass walls and to have these exhibition views in the same way as we are putting up images for an exhibition. This is a very interesting constellation also, because I have chosen here to reproduce works of August Sander, the German photographer, and to integrate in my cadrage, in my capture, also the way we are doing exhibitions. So this is the called Fangblatt, the documentation which is going with the images. So the idea for this exhibition was also to show how we make exhibitions and to deconstruct the principle of images. But on the other hand, there is also the photographic reproduction of photographs, especially here from a very important project of photography in the 20th century. It's a famous project of August Sander called Menschen des 20. Jahrhunderts, so the people of the 20th century, which was a long and ongoing project, which was still a fragment when Sander died. So a very, very important work here to reproduce. This is one of my favorite images. It's from George Brecht. Eventually it is very important because it's containing this important word, Europe, but it's also some kind of mind map on this tableau, which contains not only the word Europe, but also the word Nirvana. And my way of taking this picture was to integrate this chalk on the tableau, and also to show the transport of the work. So there is some kind of deconstruction also of the wooden container which was transporting this image. So as you can see, there is this handwriting. The text is very important, but there is also the printing of this black tableau, and also the way we transport it. So there is this kind of double or triple deconstruction of the works. And especially when we print it on the wooden boards, it's a kind of trompe l'oeil, which is going further and further, because you don't know which is the real work. So it's some kind of deconstruction also of the question: what is a picture, and what is a photographic picture? Yeah, here is the second part is still missing. We're trying to do the montage of this exhibition, so there will be a second part, but the second part of the image is also frustrating because it's not showing artworks, it's just showing the back of the pictures. And especially this is a very important work by a German painter, Gerhard Richter, who worked on the Baader-Meinhof story in the 70s in Germany, a very important work for European political discussions, and especially for Germany. And as Gerhard Richter worked a lot with blurred images, I opted to show the back of the images, so there is also the frame and the title of the work, but never the work in itself. So I'm playing with this memory of work and this disappearance of the artwork, but you have the signature and all the signs of a montage of an exhibition. So there will be a second part coming here on the right hand. This is the entry of the Falkenberg collection, a beautiful place. As you can see, it's really creating windows in the windows, and I wanted to have this picture with a visitor, like in the German romantic way, you know, like a kind of over shoulder, that we as a public are looking over the shoulder of this person who is looking at the exhibition. As you can see, it's a really labyrinthic and beautiful exhibition space. It was a fabric until the 70s, and then Mr. Falkenberg renovated the whole building and put it into some kind of white cube. Well, it's not a cube because it's a labyrinthic cube. There are multiple cubes in this, but it's completely white and completely with neon, so it gives this very beautiful white light, and especially these views where you can move and where you can see the works like in a framing, like in a photographic way. Here in the background you see the Abi Warburg reproductions. As you can see, I'm always working with long exposure to have a real sharpness on the background and in the first plan. So as you can see here, this person moved a little bit, so it's out of focus because I have 10 or 15 seconds of exposure time. the name Falkenberg. This is the Falkenberg collection. One of the ideas of this exhibition was to show what is an exhibition and to question what is an exhibition and transformation. So I integrated this little detail in this picture, which is very important for us photographers. It's a great card to have the color balance, and it shows that this is a photograph. It's a picture, but it's also an image and a photograph, and it's also showing an artwork which is hidden here behind with the name of Harald Falkenberg, which is the Falkenberg collection. And then the idea was to have the same image a little bit further on. If you move to this side here, you see that you have the same image, but the secret is no longer a secret. So as you can see, the temporality of the project is very different, and I worked for several times on the exhibition, on the montage of the exhibition and also of the demontage of the exhibition. So I photographed the same works several times to show them in another temporality and to show this transformation of the exhibition. There will be a second part coming here on the right side of the wall. The whole project is a kind of montage because I documented the process of this exhibition, the first Atlas exhibition, with about 1,000 images, and I have my digital box where I can pick up my images, and for every new interpretation of the whole project as Abi Warburg, I am choosing together with George Didi Uberman 60 or 70 images which come together in this new montage. And this principle of montage is very important for me because the way the images are put together is saying something more than a single image. And this montage was very exciting here at Rio de Janeiro in this new building, because there is a really close relationship to the outside, from coming in from the noise coming outside, the construction coming outside, and also this being close to the sea and to the city here around. So the whole project is another montage corresponding to the outside. So the exhibition space is quite special, and I wanted to react to that exhibition space and to make it some kind of interactive project for the public. And then there is this symposium we are organizing. So the exhibition will also be a support for discussions, a support also for the public coming for the symposium and discussing within the pictures. So it's also a reaction to discourse about pictures and what is a picture today and how pictures can be transformed.
And so I am very happy we have the possibility to show, I would say it's a transformation of a long process which began years ago when I devoted myself to the work of Abi Warburg and to this importance given to the atlas of images, the notion of atlas. Oh, I like this rumor. You have to take this, not to edit. Huh? Okay, you keep the because I like the fact that here it's a museum with many children. I like this very much. Okay. So I devoted the work, historical and theoretical work, about the question of the relationship between images and knowledge. People who develop the knowledge, scientists, art historians, thinkers, philosophers, all these people cannot create a knowledge without putting this knowledge into a form. It happens that the major thinkers are also people who create new forms for knowledge. And reciprocally, I discovered that many of the great artists, especially the same time, the time of Warburg, the 30s in Germany, in France, and so on, many great artists were also creating new forms of knowledge. So my first purpose in this Atlas exhibition, which was a very big one in Madrid, it was 2,500 square meters. In Hamburg it was quite 5,000 square meters. So we reacted with Arno Giesinger in a way to transform this exhibition, which was so big, so heavy, very expensive, and so on. We decided to transform it into an exhibition of an exhibition. You understand what I mean? A kind of photographic reflection on these exhibitions. At the beginning, the word atlas was used for geographical maps in the format of a book. So kind of reduction of the... In the 16th century, the maps were very big, and when the atlas was invented, it was a kind of reduction of the atlas. And so this is, in the same way, it's a kind of reduction of a big exhibition. Atlas was a titan. In Greek mythology, you have the gods and the titans. The titans are the anti-gods. The titans want to give to the men the power. For example, the famous story that Prometheus gave the fire to the men. Prometheus was a titan, and Prometheus was Atlas' brother. So both Atlas and Prometheus were against the gods, so to speak, and both had a link with the emancipation of humankind, not to be commanded by the gods. What is very important in this exhibition is to make the link between knowledge and a certain idea of when you know, you suffer. It's a big job. It's not only a work. It's to know is also to suffer, because when you know, when you enter in the details of what is history of mankind, it's you suddenly discover a whole world of sufferings. So Atlas is the figure in Aby Warburg, especially Aby Warburg, who was very erudite, he knew a lot of things, but he was also a very pathetic man. He was, he was quite crazy. He was for 5 years in an asylum. He was a kind of very fragile person. And so there is a link between the knowledge of human history and the fact that you cannot separate this knowledge from a certain suffering, because history is history of struggles. Struggle for emancipation, for example, emancipation of mankind from the gods in the mythology. But of course, today around us, all the time, emancipation of men from authority of other men. So this is a political question. So I am very interested that this exhibition, which is mostly about knowledge, has some political consequences, some political references, and this is for me very important, especially because of these plays. Do you have another question or?